Now look, we've all heard the stories, right? Contrast paint is expensive. I think everybody on the goddamn universe knows this. Speed paint, pretty good too. But there's a new contender in town, and there's been a lot of videos that I've seen online that have covered what we are covering today, but they haven't actually covered the full range. Most of the videos I've seen are of the 24 color range, so you know what? I wanted to see all 36 dipping inks. So, you know what I did? 1, 2, where did 3 go? 3. There's a 4. There's a 5. There's a 6. I bought every single one of them. Yep, you heard me right. I'll just do this for a little bit. There you go. I bought every single GreenStuffWorld dipping ink that they currently offer, and I want to answer the question, are these worth your money? Now, we need to cover a few basics here. First of all, I am not a good painter. I'm a hobby painter at best. You can tell this by the fact that I have to use my phone camera at a slanted angle because my webcam does not have an auto zoom feature. Elgato, why? Also, hi, should probably introduce myself. I'm Wolfie, I'm behind the camera. I've done a lot of things in my little YouTubing career, everything from card games to video games to, well, now dipping myself into miniature painting, because I suppose that's my hobby now. So, without any further ado, I'm going to dig into these, because these are massive paint canisters. Jesus! They're 60 millimeters, this is so much paint! Now, something as well that a lot of people have been pointing out is the fact that they don't look like what the backside does. Like, these colors aren't matching. We're gonna find that out. I'm gonna throw away this box for now. So what I've done is I've actually printed out these tiny little orc heads. These little orc heads are going to be kind of our testing ground. I have only done one thin coat of primer with a brush, which you should never do, by the way, but I don't own an airbrush. I don't own an airbrush, and I don't have spray paint, because I live in an apartment. Using spray paint here is next to impossible. This channel is all about making do with what we have. You're gonna come to learn this very quickly if you keep watching the stuff that I do, because we just kind of do things the way we can. Similarly to this, I also don't have a resin printer, which means all of the models I print, and I am not joking when I show this off, are printed using a PLA printer. They're not terrible, but they aren't necessarily what you would call excellent quality either. But they're good enough, and that's all we're looking for here. So, without any further ado, I'm just gonna squeeze some of these out and we'll just see how it goes. Alright, a couple of minutes later, and I have painted up our little orc heads of our first green set here. I actually think this set's really good. Now, a few things again to keep in mind. These are FDM-Printed, so paint does technically pool a little bit different than it would from normal models, but this is mostly for show. I just kind of want to show you how the shading would work normally. Let's have a look at Green Ghost Dip. This, if I can actually bring it up to the right camera, actually looks really nice. Despite my fingers ruining it now because it's not completely dry yet, I am an impatient man, don't sue me. This paint's actually really good. You can also see the shading, even on FDM models, is actually fairly decent. I have no complaints about that one. I actually really like this color. That's super cool looking. I shouldn't ruin it with my fingers. I ended up picking up a pair of pliers to paint these a little bit better, so I guess... now I'll ruin them, screw it. Zombie Dip is next. Zombie Dip is actually, again, fairly cool. Again, it needs to really learn how to autofocus, because apparently that's not something it likes doing, but this color is really weird. It's like an ashen gray. Super cool. Orc Flesh. This is a lot darker than I would normally consider Orc Flesh to be. I don't know about this one. Let me just... whoa. That's fancy. I didn't know I could do that with my camera. Yeah, sorry if it's doing stuff. I'm still experimenting with this phone camera, but this here, I don't know if I would necessarily call that orc flesh. It's a bit dark for orcs. Orcs are generally more vibrant green, but I don't necessarily hate the color. Very nice. Next one up is Hulky Green. I don't know about this one. Focus. There you go. I don't know about this. Hulky Green's looking kind of... It's kind of strange, right? It's a little bit like plasmic sort of green. I don't necessarily have a problem with it again. It's pretty good. Oh, that's very close up. Let's not do that. Ooh, that's not good. Hey, I'm learning. Anyway, I'm okay with this. It's not terrible. It's not good. You could probably find a use for this. For some reason, there's one called Green Shark Dip. I don't want to call this green. This is like blue at best. I don't know. And then lastly, we've got Acid Green. Acid Green's kind of cool looking. I don't mind this one too much. This one isn't even dry yet. I'm so fucking impatient. I actually like this color too. That's not bad in the slightest. Out of this one, I think Green Ghost Dip is probably my favorite. It's just so vibrantly grass green. I adore it. It's really cool looking. I like that one a lot. If you were to try any of the ones from set 1, I would probably try either Green Ghost Dip or Zombie Dip. Zombie Dip is really cool looking. Anyway, moving on to the next set. Right, opening. Boom. Set number 2, which is, I believe, yellows. It's yellow and a weird green, I guess. Who cares? Open this bad boy up. I don't want to ruin the packaging, because I haven't taken product shots yet, and I do still need to do that. Alright, here we go. 6 more. Ooh, fancy bottles. Another package. Ooh, away you go. Let's do the same thing here. Oh, I really like this one. Oh, okay. I hope that one's good. Anyway, let's just go in order. Alright, the second set is done with their first coat at the very least, and there are some standout winners and some absolute disasters. My god. Alright, going from left to right once again. Of course, you'll have a better picture on screen at the same time as I'm attempting to show these off, because who knows what the camera's going to do. Papyrus. Really cool looking, actually. I like this one. It is a very sort of beige, oldish paper. Whatever we go, there we are. Beige, oldish paper. I actually really like this one. This one is cool looking. I don't know necessarily what I would use it for, but it is decent nonetheless. We've got Amber Glow, and I was actually really looking forward to this one. Might be an issue of the model on this. I can see where the shading has attempted to go, and it looks really cool. I love the orange, yellowish color. I think this is a model issue. I'm going to give this a second layer at the end of the video to see if it improves it, but I still do kind of like this one. One that I am surprised by, actually, is Limelight. There we go. Limelight Dip. This one worked perfectly. Super good coverage. Absolutely nothing weird about it. It just worked. First try. Really nice. Regardless, those 3 are very cool. Moving on to the next one. We're looking at Yellow Submarine. That's fucking yellow, alright. I'm not gonna lie. The thing with yellow is actually really hard to get right in model paint for some reason. There's so many yellows that just don't work. This is one coat of yellow on a model that isn't necessarily adept for using paints like these. This is great. With a second coating of this, it would be solid yellow. I'm very happy with that. I finally found a yellow that I might use. Then we have Misted Yellow, which it didn't actually do anything, I feel. It is showing the base coat here, and that's it. I think this is meant to be a wash. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not into Misted, but unfortunately the one I am the most disappointed by in set number 2 is Radiant Orange. What the hell is this? Now obviously this hasn't dried completely. You can still sort of scrape at it, but the paint has not stuck anywhere. It has just ran off completely and only pooled in the recesses, and it is barely orange. I'm gonna give this one a second coat as well, and just try and redo it at the end of the video to see if I screwed this up, because I probably did. But benefit of the doubt, this is the worst one out of the set by far, and I was having high hopes for the orange. Favorite in set 2 is probably gonna be, unironically, Yellow Submarine, because it is a very, very good yellow. I kinda like it. Second to that is probably Papyrus and then Amber Glow. But that's set number 2. Let's move on to set number 3. It's time for set number 3. It's blues this time. Actually, a lot of kind of samey blues, Indigo and Azure, and these two. I don't know, but we're gonna test them all because that is what we're here to do today. Testing them in imperfect conditions so that you know that if I can do it, so can you. That's like the rule we have here. If I can do it, so can you. That might be a channel slogan. I'm gonna keep that as a channel slogan. I like that. If I can do it, so can you. Perfect. Don't worry about the noises of crashing thunder because I'm just dropping stuff. 6 blue colors are now up to bat. I'm always into blues. I really like blue as a color. I'm hoping these are good. Let's give them a go. I mean that. Why can't all of you be like him? He did it right. Right, so I've finished painting up set number 3, and we once again have some very clear winners and some immaculate losers. My goodness. Okay, most of these aren't completely dry yet. I am a very impatient man. I just kind of want to move on with my life. Again, you will see a completely dry, fixed up picture on your one side of the screen, wherever I decide to put it. I don't know. Let's start off from left to right once again then. We've got indigo blue. This one's pretty good. Not gonna lie, when this is completely dry, I think this is gonna come out just fine as a sort of space marine blue. I got no complaints. Indigo blue, pretty good. I dropped him. Azure dip, a very sort of light, magical blue. I got no complaints about this one either. This one went on fine. It has a very nice color to it. No problems. Then we have the definitive loser of set number 3, Blue Glacier. Now, I don't know what the hell's going on with this one, but it has barely covered anything. And keep in mind, yes, I am using FDM-Printed models, which generally is not something you do when painting miniatures. Sue me. But if it was a problem with the model, then every single one of these would have been the same. None of the paints would have stuck correctly. And they have, as we have seen. This one is just... I don't know what's going on here. This seems like a wash, literally. Both figuratively and literally in this case. It just doesn't seem to want to stick to anything, and it just flows into recesses and nothing else. I'll give this one a second paint job. You'll see it probably at the end of the video. I don't know about this one. This one, it doesn't do it for me. We have Dusty Blue. A more runic blue in color comparatively to Army Painters or something like that, but I actually kind of like this one. This one is fine too. A second one, which was almost as bad as Blue Glacier, which is Cool Blue. This one is the least dried out of all of them. Apologies for holding it like this. Miniature painters, beware. This one kind of has the same problem. It seems to just pool, but at least this one kind of shows a bit of pigmentation where it left. I think with a second coat, this could come out wonderfully. And then my favorite of set number 3, Turquoise Ghost Dip. Yep, there we go. This color is fucking beautiful. I love this one. It's a very sort of weird turquoise, almost very deep turquoise. I adore it. This is one of my favorite colors by far. That might have just taken spot number 1 of my favorite colors of the sets, actually. But that's set number 3. Let's move on to set number 4. Right, so for the next one, number 4. Could you guess what color this is based on this? I couldn't. Turns out it's red. Now, with the original line of 24 paints, this was one of the ones that got the most complaints, as the red just was not pigmented enough. We're here to find out if that still holds true, because if it does, we're probably going to see a lot of what we saw with the Blue Glacier, but for this one instead. Let's have a look-see. Ooh, they look nice in the bottle, I'll give them that. I don't know about the Seraphim Flesh. Goth skin? That looks kind of cool. Nude skin doesn't look like skin at all, but what do I know? Ooh, this is really red. I'm hoping this is as red as that is. Right, I've finished up set number 4, and oh boy, this is a doozy. This is by far the worst one we've had yet. Let's start off real quickly here with Red Cloak. Now, Red Cloak is slightly red. I will give it this. It is minimalistically red, I will say. But you can see that it has, in fact, put red in the recesses, so I am sure that there is something you can do with this. Like, I don't know exactly what you would do, but there is use for this. I'm a bit disappointed, but it is what it is. Next one up is Seraphim Flesh, and at first, I thought this paint was doing absolutely nothing. It was, actually. It was making a very, very gray sort of skin tone, almost vampire-esque. I thought it was just going to like go down to the base color of white and gray at first, but no, it does in fact make a color. And I was going to say that this was the worst one out of all of them. It's not. This one is completely fine. I could actually see myself using this. Next one we have Goth Skin. Goth Skin surprised me. It is a very pinkish purple sort of skin tone. You could definitely do this with some sort of like alien or other like. This one's completely fine too. I'm actually okay with this. This is fine. Nude Skin. Now here's the thing, when everyone that I've seen on YouTube made the original sort of, here's the 24 GreenStuffWorld Dippings, do they beat contrast paint, yada yada videos, they were complaining about nude skin. And, you know what? I'm with you, Chief. Focus. Focus. Yeah, there we go. Nude skin is bad. Not even, like, dumb, it's just bad. It barely gives any pigmentation, it doesn't sit in nearly anything, actually. I'm not entirely sure what the hell is going on here. I'll give this one a second coat, too, and see if that improves it any, but no, I get it why you're complaining about this one. That one is not good. Burgundy surprised me a little bit. This one is not completely dry, but that is a lovely, lovely sort of purple. Don't know why this is in the red set, but it's lovely. I have no complaints about this one. This is completely dry. It'll look fabulous. Very good. And lastly, the one that I was hoping and praying would be good, Red Opulence. Again, this is not completely dry yet, so there is a chance. Again, look at the picture on your right for the non-live reaction, I guess. It is certainly red. I will give you that. It is red. I was hoping it would be a little bit more red. Like, comparing this to the actual bottle color, if we do that, seems like a massive difference. I will not judge this now. I'll talk about it at the end of the video. I guess it gets a pass for now. That was set number 4. Definitely the low point we've had so far. This set is super uninteresting at the moment, but we'll move on to set number 5. Set number 5 is going to be another very interesting one because in every other video I've seen, most of the colors that were in this original set were complained about for not matching everything else. They were just downright awful. So awful, in fact, that GreenStuffWorld remade half of the inks in this set. Before, you used to get I believe, a black ghost dip. Now it is just named green, deep black instead. Grey Mist has also been changed a bit, and Skull Line, I believe, is new. This original black color was the worst color in their original range, and I'm hoping they have made it actually black this time. Before, it used to be sort of a shaded green. Let's dig into this one and answer my own question, I guess. Looking into the bottle, it looks black. You know, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It does, in fact, look black at the very least. Oakley dokley doodly dodly day. Set number 5 has been painted up, and I am happy to announce the black has most certainly been fixed. This might actually be my favorite contrast black ever. This is deep black dip, and it is most certainly black. It isn't dry yet, of course. Look at the image on your right to see the actual complete version of this. This is good looking. I am into this. This is the kind of black that I expect from a speed paint type thing. I also see I missed a spot, which means I will immediately fix that, or it will annoy me to the end of my days. Not because I have to, but because I want to. This is good. I'm happy with this. I'm really, really glad they fixed their black issue. Perfect. I now have 60 milliliters of a black paint that I can actually use. I got nothing negative to say about that one. Well done, GreenStuffWorld. Well done. You get a thumbs up from the live cam. Secondly, we're going to look at Green Stone Dip, which I believe was the original black that they had as Deep Shadow Dip or whatever it was. This is green. This is all green. I can't say for sure if this is the case, but as a standalone color called Green Stone, this is marvelous. I really adore this. You could use this for like temple ruins or a stone-like armor. This is good. I really like this one. Next one, we've got Elfwood Brown. Let's pick that one up here. Also a little bit wet still. Don't mind my sticky fingers. This one's also kind of nice. It's a very light wooden color. I would say maybe, you know, bows and stuff like this could be used with this sort of paint. Also fairly good. I got no real complaints on this one. Next one, let's have a look at the most oddly named one, Skeleton Brown. What makes a skeleton brown? I don't know. This one, at the very least, though, is a very, very nice leather color. I actually really, really like this one, too. I got no real complaints on this. It's a somewhat more, a lighter type of brown than the Elfwood Brown. The Elfwood Brown is a little bit darker. I think this would do fine for leathers and stuff. I don't know why they didn't just call it Leather Brown and instead went with fucking Skeleton Brown. I don't know. Then we have the two of the ones that I am deeply questioning myself with, because I realize now that doing these on lightly coated undercoats is probably not a good way to show them off. I should probably have primed them black. But we have gray, which you can, of course, barely see, because one, it isn't zooming in correctly, but two, it's also on a gray undertone already. Apologies. I should have thought about that. You can't really see this. But I can say that it doesn't seem to be taking paint on as well as some of the other ones, similar to the blue glacier we had earlier, which is unfortunate. And lastly, we also have Skull Linen, which seems to be doing the same thing, but I can tell that this one is staining off a little bit more. I'll see if I can't get a black undercoat on some of these and try them on that, and if not, we'll just deem them as okay, simply by default. I will say out of this set, Deep Black definitely has my vote for the best one. Again, that's probably my favorite black contrast-ish paint. It's really good. I absolutely adore that one. I will definitely be using it. I also really like Green Stone, surprisingly, for ruins and stuff that might need a splash of paint. That's awesome looking. Don't hate the two browns either. I'm a bit skeptical of Grey Mist and Skull Linen, but honestly, this doesn't feel like a fair assessment. I might give you an update at the end of the video on that. We'll see. We got one set remaining until this absurdly long video is done, and this is the one I've been looking forward to the most. We got ourselves the final 6 skulls on the board, and this is the set that made me want to buy GreenStuffWorld paints to begin with. Purple. The amount of awesome looking purples on this box is astounding to me. Garnet purple looks absolutely amazing. Nightshade purple is like my favorite purple ever, probably. If that looks like this, I am sold. Glorious Magenta is the one that everybody seems to be recommending if you want to try these paints out, so I am hoping it does a good showing. Violet Hint doesn't look terrible. Morrow Purple is, I don't know about that one, and Purple Vanity actually looks really good. I'm super excited about this one. This is I've been waiting to open this fucking thing all day. Alright, that was the final set of paints. Set number 6, all purple, baby, and honestly, I think it holds up. Let's start off with Nightshade Purple. Boom, boom. Nightshade Purple. I really, really like this one. This one is amazing looking. It's not as vibrant as the package might have you believe that it is, but I don't think that matters. With a second coat, this would definitely be that vibrant sort of purple that the package sort of says it will be. I really like this one. This one's definitely top tier for me. One that surprised me actually was Garnet Purple. Garnet Purple was really, really good. It gives a really nice, actual purple tint to things. I'm very happy about this one. I have nothing else to say. It's a super good purple. Happy about it. One that I am less happy about is Violet Tint. Once again, we have one of these things that I think is meant to be a wash, because it has the same issue as Blue Glacier does. It just pulls into recesses and doesn't really do anything else. Perhaps it's a wash. I'm not sure. It's not great, though. Glorious Magenta. The one that everybody recommends, and despite the pooling on this one, I really like the color too. If I did a second coat of this and it would cover up everything that has currently pooled into recesses, it would be really, really good. I got very little complaints about this one. I wouldn't say it's better than Nightshade Purple, though. Nightshade Purple is still my favorite out of the bunch here. Two of the ones that actually surprised me are the two ones I didn't think I'd be very interested in, but again, it has definitely pulled into recesses a little bit much here. I should have been more accurate, but hey, this is the channel of good enough. Morrow Purple. Morrow Purple is very, very gray, but not in a bad sense. I actually kind of like this one. I don't know what to say. I would probably use it as a very gray purple. It's fair. And the one that surprised me the most, I think, is Purple Vanity Dip. The one that I said that I wasn't going to care too much about. It's beautiful. Purple Vanity Dip is great. I fucking love this color. If I could center it, there you go. I love this color. This is everything I could ask for. All right. Set number 6, I think, is definitely the best set out of the bunch. If you were to purchase any of the GreenStuffWorld dipping ink sets, go for the purple one. The purple one is definitely the one with the most thought put into it. The colors in general are really, really good. I really, really like this one. So with all of the paints tested and done, we need to come to a conclusion to this video. I said I would answer the question, are these worth your money? So let's have a look at the pros and cons. For the pros, first of all, the price. You are getting an absurd amount of paint for the money that you are spending. So if you are painting on a budget, these may actually be an attractive pickup for you. It isn't, again, it's so much paint. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with all of this paint, but there's a lot of paint. Secondly, it is just as easy to use as contrast or speed paint. It dries in just about the same time. I would say it dries maybe a couple of minutes slower, but generally speaking, you won't notice it as much. You can still set down a whole sort of painting session and you'll be generally fine. Just as with all paint, be careful when you apply a second layer of paint. Speaking of that, actually, there is no reactivation with these paints whatsoever that I've been able to do off screen. You can stack dipping ink on dipping ink and you'll be just fine. Then we've got to talk about the unfortunate cons, because there are quite a few that I've noticed. First of all, some of the colors are absolutely impossible to use as actual colors. I'm not entirely sure if they were meant for some other paint line, but accidentally happened here, but colors like Cool Blue really showed off that they are just not as good as the other ones, and I'm not entirely sure what the reason is. Secondly, we went through earlier in the video about them lying about the colors on the back of the package, and I unfortunately have to agree with some of them. A lot of them can be misleading, as we have seen. They are very vibrant and clear in the images, but I was unable to replicate those on any models that I have, including Games Workshop official ones. It just couldn't be done, and I'm not entirely sure if that's up to me being a bad painter or the paints actually being, well, not accurate, but considering a lot of people have been complaining about this before, I'm leaning towards the fact that the paints are not accurate. Thirdly, of course, there is a caveat to the cost, because if you currently live in the US, I know that ordering these paints are going to be relatively expensive, so you may have to pay a lot more than what these paints are actually worth in order to kind of get them into your hands, I suppose. So, to answer the question, are these worth your money? Yes and no. It really comes down to the color that you are after, because some of the colors are outstanding, and I mean that as sincerely as I can say. So I went ahead and put together a tier list. Yeah, it sounds weird, but just stick with me here, because some of these colors I actually suggest that you pick up regardless of what level of painter you are. If you're an amateur like me, if you're a professional, I actually think you may have some use for these. So let's start from the bottom for the ones that I do not suggest you buy under any circumstances. Blue Glacier, Cool Blue, Misted Yellow, Nude Skin, Radiant Orange, and Red Cloak all failed miserably in my tests. None of them really painted the way I expected them to. The colors were mismatched to all hell, and every competitor can give you something better that does that job, and it is worth the money. Just trust me. Then we have a couple of decent paints. We've got Amber Glow, Green Shark, Grey Mist, Hulky Green, Orc Flesh, Red Opulence, Seraphim Flesh, and Violet Hint. I suggest you pick these up if you know you are going to need them specifically for a big project that you are doing. Maybe you need that sort of Green Shark skin dip for an armor set of one of your armies or something, then yeah, go ahead and pick it up. It's not a terrible pickup, but if you don't have a specific need for it, I don't suggest that you pick it up. We've then got a whole load of paints. We got Acid Green, Mazur Dip, Burgundy Dip, Dusty Blue, Elfwood Brown, Garnet Purple, Glorious Magenta, Goth Skin, Indigo Blue, Limelight, Skull Linen, or Linen, Morrow Purple, Papyrus, Purple Vanity, and Skeleton Brown. These paints I would consider you just picking up for the sake of it. They're paints that you might accidentally need one day because the colors are generic enough to fit just about anywhere, and they actually did a very good job in my testing. I will happily use these throughout the span of me owning them, and they'll probably be some of the first ones to run out because they're actually very good. Then we've got the great recommendations, ones that I just consider you should go out and buy if you see them because they are really worth your money. We are talking Deep Black, which is by far my favorite black contrast / speed paint.
it's really, really good. If you happen to see deep black and make sure it's not black shadow, deep black is great. Give it a go. I think you'll love it. Green Ghost was one of the ones that completely surprised me as well with the vibrant green color that it was. I really, really enjoyed it. I think it could fit in a lot of places. Green Stone, to me, is the perfect background color for painting things like rocks and ruins and things, and I did give it a go, and it's not finished, but it is looking great. Nightshade Purple gave a vibrant and absolutely purple paint. Turquoise was really, really good. I don't typically like turquoise, but that one stuck with me. Zombie Dip was another one that actually surprised me, and I think that color is beautiful. If you are painting any undead, that will be great. And Yellow Submarine surprised me because it is an extremely screamy yellow, and there are very few of those available that do the trick. Anyways, I hope that this video was of at least some use to you. You have now seen someone open all 36 paints and give them a quick do-over, and I hope this sort of helps you judge what you need to purchase. Remember, this hobby is expensive. Spend your money wisely. If you enjoyed the video and would like me to see me review some more paints, then go ahead and leave a comment, I suppose. You can also leave a comment with your own experiences with the Green Stuff paint line in case you've had a better or worse experience than I have. It would be interesting to know, considering I haven't used these that much yet. As always, though, I suppose we don't really have a slogan for this channel yet. No, we do. I'm sticking with it. If I can do it, so can you. So get out there and paint, everybody.